What's going on, internet? This is a series that I've been waiting to do for a really long time. Ask a vegan bodybuilder anything. So basically just the most frequently asked questions or the most common questions that you could ask a vegan bodybuilder for someone who's looking to get into it or someone who's already a bodybuilder, maybe thinking about transitioning over to plant-based diet, whatever it is. My name's Brian. I've been bodybuilding for about 10 years now. I've been vegan for a little over 2 years, so I have pretty extensive knowledge of, the whole bodybuilding game and how that all works, as well as, this new knowledge of how it all works with a vegan diet behind it, a plant-based diet. So I'm excited to answer some questions. I'm gonna answer 5 right now, and then I'm gonna let you guys source the next questions by leaving your questions in the comments below this video. And really, what kind of a common question video would this be if it didn't start with, where do you get your protein from, right? Because it's just vegetables and twigs and stuff like that, right? But actually, believe it or not, there's about 100 million ways to get your protein from. I actually took a picture of the most common ones that I'd use, so I'll just read them out right here. Tofu, seitan, chickpeas or lentils, black bean pasta, tempeh, TVP, brown rice protein, beefless grounds, which are, they're like ground beef, right? It looks just like that, but it's made out of pea protein. So actual pea, the vegetable, it's made out of that. So it's cool because there's many different types of protein sources in terms of, you can get it from soy, you can get it from wheat gluten, you can get it from beans, or you can get it from actual whole food sources. So those are the ones that I like to use the most common, but I go through a ton of different types of sources for my proteins. Now here's a question that I get a lot from people who have already been lifting for a few years and don't want to lose their gains. They want to continue doing what they love, right? Because for me, for example, I fell in love with bodybuilding at 14, 15, and that was it. I have not fallen out of love with it. I still need it every single day. And so it's a big thing, if changing your diet would make it so that you can't follow your passion, then that would suck. And I would understand that being a kind of a deterring thing. But luckily, veganism, plant-based diet has no correlation with you not being able to still do the same things. Bulk up just as big as you were, cut down as much as you want to, because I've actually been able to compete last year, and I got probably the most shredded I've ever gotten, which was awesome. I was getting ripples in my chest, my veins were popping out, I was feeling incredibly conditioned. And then also on the same coin, right now I'm in the middle of bulking, so it's been a little bit over a year since my last competition. I've been bulking since then, so I believe I competed at something like 180, 185. I'm now at 205, 206. I'm trying to slowly gain my way up to 220 pounds, which I have been at before. And so I'm just trying to do this in the smartest way possible so that I can put on the least amount of body fat while putting on this weight, right? So the majority of it is coming from muscle and extra glycogen and water that's within my muscles. But I've been fighting a shoulder problem for the last 2 years. Recently, I've been able to finally do some rehab to get my impingement back to normal. So I've been able to put pressing back in, put some shoulders back in a little bit. And so that's why this bulk is gonna last for about 2 years. And I'm gonna try to get as big as I possibly can get, as big as I have ever gotten. So I'm working through my rehabs, but also I'm still able to put on just as much strength as before. I'm maxing out the seated cable row machine again. I'm maxing out the rear delt machine again. All these things are things that I have done with meat, and now I'm doing without meat, and there literally has been no difference. I don't feel weaker while I'm lifting or anything like that. How much protein do you need? That is probably the second most common question I ever get, and it's you're gonna get a million different figures, especially if you go to general bodybuilding channels, because I was a general bodybuilding channel before I did this, what I am now, which is like this fitness and vegan and acne channel. But I originally thought I needed 2 grams of protein per pound I weigh, and that is not true. So at a certain time I was eating something like 400 grams of protein a day, and that was not necessary by any means. Now what I'm eating, and this is gonna blow your mind, but at 205-ish pounds, I'm eating somewhere around 120 grams of protein a day. Give or take a little bit. But basically what I'm saying is my recommendation is somewhere around 0.5 grams of protein per pound you weigh, and that's for a leaner scale physique, you know what I mean? If you have a little bit more body fat, you might need even less protein. Protein is so overemphasized in the industry, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that protein supplement companies want you to use more protein in your diet, so you use their protein powders more often. But like I said, I've been bodybuilding for 10 years. I'm no noob to how much protein I need or how much is working or isn't working. And as I've lowered my protein, my gains have stayed consistent week by week, and I've gone as low as 80 grams of protein a day, and I've been able to consistently make gains. If you want to watch, you can see my Hercules series. You can see as my physique has gotten bigger, I've been able to lift more, I've been feeling larger. You can go see the pictures on my Instagram. You can see as I've changed, and that is with 120 grams or less of protein a day. Now this question goes hand in hand with the previous question, because this is, what is your macro split looking like? So if you don't know what a macro split looks like, basically what part of your calories are made up of protein, of carbohydrates, and of fat. You know, which percent of each one. 55% carbohydrates, 25% protein, 20% fat. Sometimes I will go a little higher in carbs, so sometimes I'll trade all the way up to 65% if I'm really going high carbs. Maybe it's a leg day and we're doing cardio, or we're going on a hike, going outside or something like that. And then the other things will go down a little bit because of that. But that is the split that I like to follow, and there are a lot of differing opinions on this, but I think that it is necessary that you do keep in your fats if you are going to be messing around with your macronutrient split, because a lot of people will encourage high carb, low fat, but your body actually runs its endocrine system, which is its testosterone, estrogen, all your hormonal panel, and basically it runs that off of your fat intake. So if you have no fat intake, you are going to be suffering hormonal issues if you have 0%. So make sure that you do leave some percent in for a fat intake. Do I have to eat more? That's actually a really smart question, because you are eating more plants, and generally you're eating more vegetables and you're getting more fiber. I mean, it depends if you're going junk food vegan or if you're trying to go more whole foods, but if you go more whole foods, you're going to be eating more fiber. And I think that the vegetables that you eat, especially the less cooked ones, the ones with more fiber, I feel like your body has to work harder to digest those. At least anecdotally, while I've been vegan and while I've especially made more strides towards whole foods, I've noticed that I get hungrier quicker. And the reason why, I think, is that my body is burning calories to digest calories. So I have to eat a little bit more. So this could be a good or a bad thing. This could be a caveat that sucks if you're not good at eating, but if you love eating and maybe you're trying to lose some weight, that could be an awesome thing. For me, I have no problems eating. I love eating. So for me, when this happened, I was really just adding in an extra 400, 500, 600 calories, and seriously, no problem at all. And I saved the most controversial question for the last question, because this is the one that gets most people to not try out a vegan diet, especially bodybuilders and fitness people, which is soy bad for you? Is it going to lower your testosterone? Is it going to raise your estrogen? Is it going to kill you slowly? Is it going to slide into your bed and steal your woman? What is it going to do? What is soy going to do? Well, whatever agenda of this side of the argument you want to argue, you can find studies for it. So I personally think that a lot of studies are really bad and really poorly administrated. Like, for example, I was just trying to find evidence to find that soy does increase your estrogen or drop your testosterone, basically trying to play devil's advocate for this argument. And what I found was that one of the studies, they were using rats. So that's, for me, I don't care what a rat, my body's not a rat, okay? You can actually go read yourself. There's this really good article this guy wrote up where he put a bunch of different studies on this article and then dissected them and explained whether or not they were true in their study controls and whatnot, and whether those studies actually had any actual evidence behind them.
Just to give you a little bit of some insight as to what the article actually has, here's an excerpt from the article itself. The Gardner-Thorpe study also found soy to have advantageous effects against prostatic disease and heart disease. The idea of these testosterone reductions making these men less manly or smaller was not indicated. Interestingly, in the Nagata study, they may have concluded the inverse relationship of soy intake and testosterone levels, but they also stated the correlations were of borderline significance. Then look at this. In fact, in a study published 1 year later by Nagata again, he found that no change in testosterone with soy consumption. So here's where the problem comes, is a lot of people read one article, quote it, and then they don't see that the other article negated those findings a year later.
What I'm saying with this big long ass question is that no, soy does not affect your estrogen or your testosterone in a significant way that actually matters enough for you to care. Go click the link, read more if you are interested in this, but yes, you don't have to worry about soy. That's it. There we go. This is the first episode of this Ask a Vegan Bodybuilder Anything series, and I'm really excited about this because I personally love bodybuilding. Like I was telling you before, it is one of my biggest passions, and I also am a huge advocate of researching and figuring out what's going to do best for your bodybuilding. So I was going through everything on the internet when I first started, and I feel like videos like this one need to be out there for people who are interested not only in bodybuilding but also in plant-based eating, because I don't think that those two should be separate things. I don't think they should be topics that are, being afraid to be talked about. I think people should dive into it and explain what they know, what they've learned, what they've researched. So I'm hoping that this video can kind of pack some of that down for you, kind of get some answers out to you from somebody who truly has been doing this for many years and has been vegan for over 2 years, still lifting. I'm about to go to the gym right now, and I'm doing fine. Go check my Instagram, go check my YouTube videos if you want to see if I do have muscle or if I don't have muscle. But yeah, I'm freaking pumped to put this video up. I think this series is going to be really interesting. So please, guys, guys, any questions that you have regarding veganism and bodybuilding, veganism and fitness, veganism and health, whatever it is, put it in the comments below. I'm going to use your questions. I'm going to source them for the next series, and you're also probably going to be in the episode if I do use a question. I'm going to put your comment like on the screen. So please, guys, do that. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out a lot. Makes it really fun that we get to interact with each other. That's one of my favorite things. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, on Snapchat, you can do so. Both of those are right here. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. It helps this spread out to more people. Comment if you haven't commented already. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week. CT.
Lift heavy or die Myron, motherfucker.
Team Beyond the Week.
CT. Lift heavy or die